the advancement of British urology as a corporate entity. I have no idea what that means, but what I think it means is somebody who is absolutely fantastic, is incredibly well respected, not only here in the UK, but around the world. So, I invite Miss Jean McDonald to come out. To come up to give the citation. Io, welcome. The mic is yours, my dear. You've got 2 minutes, by the way.
Okay, so I want to tell you a story about a lady called Jean McDonald from Jamaica, where she graduated sometime in the 70s. Her first job was under a so-called top urologist who didn't actually believe there was any value in training women in surgery. However, Jean didn't let that stop her or deter her from her pathway, and shortly later started her urological career in the UK, sometime in the 80s. Incidentally, that particular surgeon congratulated her and apologised many years later when they met up again. I'm going to just tell you about Jean in a bit more detail. She was appointed as a consultant to the North Middlesex in 1995 when she became the first black female urologist in the UK. Now I'm going to just list a few of her achievements, not my favourite ones, but they're important. She's been clinical lead, deputy chair for the Medicines Management Committee, surgical tutor, board member of various SIU committees. However, that's not really what makes her special. What makes her special, and the reason why a lot of us call her mum, is that she's been an inspiration to many of us. She's been a tireless advocate of revolutionising the nursing role, both here in the UK and abroad. She's passionate about trainees and training them. Now, that doesn't mean that she just lets them do cases. It means in terms of the nurses, she's helped them develop nurse-led clinics, and she's taken that to other countries where the role of nurses has really been very different to the role of nurses in the UK, so that these clinicians, both nurses and doctors, will become the urological leaders of the future. And she's done that on countless continents, both in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, in the Middle East, and in the Caribbean, which is her home country. And this has also meant she's set up workshops in these areas. She's paid for nurses and trainees out of her own personal funds to go on conferences, to go to different countries, which really expands your experience and what you bring to the table as a clinician, and that's vitally important. We need more people doing things like that. Lastly, she's been a shining light, and she's inspired a lot of us to believe that we too can be a urologist in the UK, and we can actually be leaders of the future. And she doesn't do that with a lot of noise. She's very quiet. She just gets on and she does what's right, and that's something that should be celebrated. So on behalf of all of your children, Jean, I'd like to say thank you very much for...
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm truly honored and humbled to be standing before you today to receive this prestigious award. I would like to thank all those involved in the nominating process and the Medals and Awards Committee for choosing me to join the ranks of so many illustrious past winners. As a rank outsider, to make it in a surgical specialty, especially in the 80s to 90s, was a tough challenge. You cannot imagine how the odds were stacked against you, especially when you also happen to be a woman and black. I'm grateful to the urology fraternity, who were quite open and welcoming back then, who judged me by my ability rather than my gender or skin color. It is no surprise that in 2024, urology towers above all other specialties in promoting equality and diversity in training and career opportunities. None of the things I accomplished in my career would have been possible without good mentors, colleagues, and staff. I am blessed by the unstinted support from a loyal group of family and friends, many of whom are here in the audience. What I enjoyed most during my urological career that has spanned nearly 4 decades was the close interaction I had with my trainees, many of whom have literally adopted me as their godmother. And it is this legacy that I would like to leave behind when I eventually hang up my boots. Teach one, cure many. Thank you very much.